Darth, Theorist, rise. What if Anakin absorbed the father from Mortis' power after his death? Let's explore the depths of it in the video. The father's body begins to dissolve into pure light, his essence scattering across the realm between worlds. Anakin feels it, the pull, the weight, the sheer magnitude of what's being released. It's not like touching the Force. This is the Force itself, raw and infinite, seeking a vessel. He reaches out instinctively, not with his hand, but with every fiber of his being. The power slams into him like a tidal wave. His vision whites out. Every nerve in his body ignites. For a moment there is only pain, then understanding. The galaxy unfolds before his mind's eye. Every star, every world, every living being connected by threads of light and shadow. He sees the past, the present, and the branching paths of possible futures all at once. When his vision clears, Obi-Wan and Ahsoka are staring at him with expressions caught between awe and fear.
Anakin? Are you... What just happened?
Anakin looks down at his hands. They appear unchanged, but he can feel the difference. The Force doesn't just flow through him anymore. It flows from him. He is a conduit for something far greater than himself. The daughter's sacrifice, the son's defeat, the father's final gift. They've all converged into this singular transformation.
I can feel everything. The war, the Republic, the Jedi, the Sith, all of it. And I can see the web that connects it all.
Master, your eyes. They're glowing.
He blinks, and the glow fades. Control. He has perfect control now. The rage that once threatened to consume him feels different, like a memory of someone else's emotions. In its place stands clarity, patience, and wisdom that seems to have existed for millennia. As Mortis fades away and their ship returns to real space, Anakin sits in quiet meditation. Obi-Wan watches him carefully, noticing the fundamental change in his former Padawan's presence. Where once there was a storm of emotion, ambition, fear, love, and anger, now there is an ocean, deep and impossibly calm. When they return to Coruscant, Anakin requests an immediate audience with the Jedi Council. The summons itself is unusual, but the moment he steps into the chamber, every master present feels it. The Force sings in his presence, a harmonic that resonates through the temple itself. Yoda's ears perk up. His walking stick clatters to the floor. The ancient Grand Master rises slowly, his eyes widening as he stares at Anakin.
Impossible. This power. Feel it, I do. Stronger than anything encountered in 900 years.
What happened on Mortis, Skywalker? You feel different. Your presence in the Force, it's overwhelming. The father died. Before his passing, his power had to go somewhere. The Force chose me as its vessel. I didn't seek this, Masters, but I won't turn away from it either.
You speak of the father as if he were real, not a vision.
Mortis was real. The son, the daughter, the father. They were manifestations of the Force itself. The father maintained balance between light and dark for millennia. Now that responsibility has passed to me.
The chamber falls silent. Several masters exchange uncertain glances. This goes beyond prophecy, beyond anything in their sacred texts.
Can you demonstrate? Show us the extent of this transformation.
Anakin considers for a moment, then reaches out with his mind. Every object in the chamber, chairs, holoprojectors, even Master's lightsabers, lifts into the air simultaneously. But he's not straining. His breathing remains steady, his expression serene. With a gesture, everything arranges itself in a perfect geometric pattern, rotating slowly in midair. Then, just as smoothly, everything returns to its proper place.
Remarkable. Such precision and power combined. I've never witnessed anything like it.
Masters, there's more. On our journey back, Anakin demonstrated abilities I've only read about in the oldest holocrons. Force healing without effort, perceiving events on the other side of the galaxy, even communing with the Force itself as if speaking with an old friend.
If what you say is true, then you've transcended what it means to be a Jedi. Are you still Anakin Skywalker, or have you become something else entirely? I am Anakin Skywalker, but I am also more. I've become an extension of the living Force itself. I understand now what the Chosen One prophecy truly means. Not to just destroy the Sith, but to become a bridge between all aspects of the Force. Light and dark, life and death, passion and serenity. All of it flows through me now.
A god you have become.
Not a god, Master Yoda. More like a conduit for the will of the Force. I don't control it, but I understand it. I can see the currents and eddies. The places where darkness pools and where light struggles to reach. And I can act on that knowledge.
Then see this, you must. The shadow that clouds our vision. Find it, can you?
Anakin closes his eyes and extends his awareness. The temple, Coruscant, the Senate. He feels the dark side like a cancer, festering at the heart of the Republic. And at its center, a presence he knows well. Too well. His eyes snap open.
Chancellor Palpatine. He's the Sith Lord you've been searching for. Darth Sidious. Every move, every word, every smile. All of it orchestrated to destroy the Jedi and seize control of the galaxy.
The declaration hits the council like a thermal detonator. Masters leap to their feet, hands moving towards lightsabers. Mace's face hardens into a mask of controlled fury.
You're certain? The Chancellor has been a friend to the Jedi for years. I can feel his connection to the dark side as clearly as I feel yours to the light, Master Windu. More than that, I can see the threads of his manipulation stretching back decades. The blockade of Naboo, the creation of the clone army, the assassination attempts on Senator Amidala, Count Dooku's fall, even my own mother's death. All of it orchestrated or allowed to happen to push pieces into position.
Your mother? Anakin, are you saying?
The Tusken Raiders who took her were emboldened by dark side influence. Palpatine needed me angry, needed me to take the first step toward darkness. He's been grooming me since I was 9 years old, Masters. Every moment of kindness, every word of encouragement, all calculated to turn me into his weapon.
The rage that would have once consumed him at this realization is absent. Instead, there is only a cold, crystalline understanding. He can see Palpatine's plan laid out like a holochess board, every piece positioned for maximum advantage, and he can see exactly how to dismantle it.
Move against him directly we cannot. Too dangerous, too powerful he is. And the Senate. Believe us, they will not.
Which is why we don't move against him. Not yet. We dismantle his power base first, piece by piece, until he has nowhere left to hide. And I know exactly where to start.
That night, Anakin reaches out through the Force, across the vast distance, to Sereno. Count Dooku sits in his meditation chamber when he feels it. A presence in his mind, vast and terrible and utterly unstoppable.
Count Dooku, or should I say Darth Tyrannus, we need to talk.
Dooku's eyes snap open. He ignites his lightsaber instinctively, scanning the room for the intruder. But he's alone.
Who dares? This is impossible. No Jedi has this power. You're right. I'm not just a Jedi anymore. I am Anakin Skywalker, and I know everything, Count. I know your master, Darth Sidious. I know his real identity, Chancellor Palpatine. I know about Order 66, the inhibitor chips and the clones, the plan to wipe out the Jedi and establish a Sith Empire. And I know that he'll betray you the moment you're no longer useful. Lies. You're trying to deceive me. Am I? Search your feelings, Count. You joined Sidious because you believed the Republic was corrupt, that the Jedi had lost their way. You wanted to tear it all down and rebuild something better. But look at what your master has built instead. More corruption, more suffering. A war that's bled the galaxy dry while he consolidates power. You're not reforming anything. You're just his attack dog. And what would a Jedi know of such things? You defend the very system that's rotting from within. I agree with you, Count. The Republic is corrupt. The Jedi have become too dogmatic, too removed from the people they're meant to serve. But Palpatine isn't the solution. He's the disease. He spent decades infecting every level of government, creating the very problems he claims to solve. He made the Republic this way, positioned himself as the only solution, and now he's ready to discard all of you who helped him climb to power.
Silence stretches between them. Dooku's hand trembles slightly on his lightsaber hilt.
Even if I believed you, what difference would it make? Sidious is too powerful, too deeply entrenched. He's already won. He's only won if we let him, and I'm not going to let him. Join me, Count. Help me expose him. Help me end this war, and together we'll rebuild the Republic into something worthy of its founding ideals. Not through tyranny, but through truth. You expect me to trust you? A Jedi who serves the very council that cast me aside. I'm offering you a choice. Something your master never gave you. Redemption over damnation. Purpose over betrayal. Or you can stay his puppet until he finds a newer, younger apprentice to replace you with. Someone like me.
The words strike home. Dooku has felt it. The way Sidious looks at Skywalker. The plans being woven around the young Jedi. He's not a fool. He knows he's expendable.
If I were to consider this madness, how would you even begin to...
The force around Dooku suddenly shifts. Anakin manifests before him, not physically present, but as a projection of pure force energy, radiant and terrible. The sheer magnitude of power on display is unlike anything Dooku has ever witnessed. This is beyond Master Yoda, beyond even Sidious. There is something ancient and fundamental.
This is how. I've transcended the limitations that bind both Jedi and Sith. I see the Force as it truly is, and I can bend it to serve balance rather than either extreme. Watch.
With a gesture, Anakin demonstrates techniques long thought lost. Force light that could purge dark side corruption. Shatterpoint perception that could identify and exploit any weakness in a person, place, or plane. Mekuduro, to communicate with droids and machines. Tutaminis, to absorb and redirect energy on massive scales. Even the forbidden technique of severing another's connection to the Force, temporarily suspending their power. Dooku's lightsaber falls from nerveless fingers.
What are you? The Chosen One, finally fulfilling my purpose. Will you help me, or will you stand in my way? What do you need me to do?
The plan unfolds over the following weeks. Count Dooku, acting on Anakin's instructions, begins private negotiations with Senator Amidala and other separatist sympathizers within the Republic Senate. To the outside galaxy, it appears that the war might finally be winding down. Peace talks are scheduled. Ceasefires are honored. Palpatine watches these developments with growing unease. Something has shifted, some variable he didn't account for. Dooku is responding to his summons. Dooku isn't responding to his summons. The war momentum is stalling, and young Skywalker has been avoiding their usual meetings, claiming meditation and Jedi duties. Meanwhile, Anakin works with Padme and her allies to build political pressure around a simple question. Why does the Chancellor still hold emergency powers years after the crisis that granted them? The Senate committee begins investigations. Previously hidden spending comes to light. Connections between Palpatine and various corporate interests in the separatist movement begin to surface. Nothing provable yet, but enough to raise questions. In the Senate chambers, the pressure builds.
Chancellor, the Separatists have agreed to a provisional ceasefire. They're willing to negotiate in good faith. Surely this crisis atmosphere that justified your emergency powers is finally ending.
My dear Senator, I would like nothing more than to relinquish these burdens. However, we must ensure that any peace is lasting, and we are not simply giving the Separatists time to regroup.
With respect, Chancellor, we have been hearing that same argument for 3 years. At what point does emergency governance become a permanent dictatorship?
The Senate has a right to govern itself again. The people have a right to democracy restored. I'm putting forward a motion to rescind the emergency powers and return full legislative authority to this body.
The motion gains surprising traction. Palpatine's allies scramble to table it, but the momentum is building. His carefully constructed political machine is being pulled apart from within. That night, Palpatine reaches out through the Force to Dooku, his patience finally exhausted. The summons is not a request, it's a command, backed by the full weight of the dark side. The meeting is arranged in an abandoned industrial sector on Coruscant, far from prying eyes. Dooku arrives alone, his face an unreadable mask. Palpatine steps from the shadows, his presence radiating barely controlled fury.
What have you done, my apprentice? You've ignored my orders, negotiated without my permission, and now I find my position in the Senate threatened. Explain yourself.
I've grown wary of being a pawn, my master. The promises you've made, they've proven hollow. This war serves only your ambition, not our stated goals.
You dare defy me? Perhaps you've forgotten what happens to apprentices who outlive their usefulness.
Lightning crackles from Palpatine's fingertips, but before it can strike Dooku, a blue blade intercepts it. Anakin steps between them, his lightsaber absorbing the dark side energy with barely any effort.
Hello, Chancellor. Or should I call you Darth Sidious?
Palpatine's mask slips. For just a moment, shock and fury wore across his features before he forces the grandfatherly smile back into place.
Anakin, my boy, I don't know what the Count has told you, but...
Don't. I know everything. I've seen your plans, felt your corruption in the Force. You groomed me, manipulated me, tried to turn me into your weapon, but you made one critical mistake.
And what was that?
You assumed I'd stay weak enough to control.
3 more lightsabers ignite behind Palpatine. Obi-Wan, Mace Windu, and Yoda emerge from concealment, their weapons ready. The Dark Lord of the Sith is surrounded.
So, this is your play. The Jedi finally show their true colors, attempting to murder a lawfully elected Chancellor. When word of this reaches the Senate...
We're taking you into custody, Sidious. You'll stand trial for treason, for engineering this war, for crimes against the Republic and the Jedi Order.
Palpatine's facade drops completely. His face contorts into a mask of pure hatred, his eyes burning yellow with dark side corruption.
You think you can cage a Sith Lord? I am the Senate. I am the Force itself.
He unleashes a storm of force lightning in all directions, a maelstrom of dark-side energy meant to overwhelm them all. The Jedi Masters stagger under the onslaught, their lightsabers working furiously to deflect the attacks. But Anakin doesn't even ignite his second blade. He simply raises his hand. The lightning bends around him, drawn into his palm like water into a drain. He absorbs every volt, every ounce of dark-side energy, transmuting it into pure force power.
Is that all? I expected more from the great Darth Sidious.
Palpatine's eyes widen. He redoubles his attack, pouring more power into the assault. Lightning storms from his fingertips in torrents that could level buildings. The metal around them begins to glow red-hot from energy discharge. Anakin absorbs it all. Then, with a gesture, he releases it. Not as lightning, but as pure light. The radiance fills the chamber, driving back shadows, burning away corruption. Palpatine screams as the Force light washes over him, weakening his connection to the dark side. Obi-Wan and Mace Windu move in, their blades driving Palpatine back. The Sith Lord fights with desperate fury, his red lightsaber weaving an impenetrable defense, even as his power wanes. Yoda joins the assault, his ancient wisdom guiding strikes that find the smallest gaps in Sidious's guard. But they're not trying to kill him. They're hurting him, pushing him back toward Anakin.
Skywalker, join me. I can still teach you, give you more power than you even possess now.
I don't need your teachings anymore, Palpatine. I've seen those futures where I fall to darkness, where I become your slave. I've also seen the path forward. The real one, not the lies you fed me.
Palpatine lunges at him with a desperate strike. Anakin catches the blade on his own, then, with his free hand, places his palm against Palpatine's forehead. The Sith Lord's eyes go wide. Through the Force, Anakin performs a technique so advanced, so dangerous, that it exists only in the most forbidden sections of the Jedi archives. He doesn't just sever Palpatine's connection to the Force. That would be too merciful. Instead, he reaches into the Sith Lord's mind and rebuilds it. Memories of dark-side corruption fade. The carefully constructed persona of Darth Sidious crumbles. What remains is Sheev Palpatine, senator from Naboo, his mind restored to a state before his fall to darkness, but with one crucial addition, an unbreakable compulsion to serve the light side of the Force and the good of the Republic. Palpatine stumbles back, his lightsaber falling from numb fingers. Confusion clouds his features.
Where am I? What's happening? I remember the Senate. I was going to... There was something I needed to... I can't remember. Why can't I remember?
Anakin, what did you do?
I removed Darth Sidious from existence and remade Palpatine into what he should have been. A servant of the people, incapable of falling to darkness again. He'll return to the Senate tomorrow and begin the process of relinquishing his emergency powers, exposing the corruption he built into the system, and helping us rebuild.
A dangerous technique, that is. Altering minds, rewriting wills. The path to the darkness, it can be.
Perhaps. But I'm not corrupting him or forcing him to serve my will. I'm aligning him with the will of the Force itself. He'll have free choice within those bounds, but he'll no longer be capable of the cruelty and manipulation that defined Darth Sidious. Is that worse than execution?
The question hangs in the air. None of them have an easy answer.
The galaxy will demand an explanation. The Senate, the public, they'll want to know what happened here. And they'll get the truth. Dooku has recordings of Palpatine's admissions, evidence of his manipulation. We'll expose everything. The war, the conspiracy, all of it. Then we'll let the Senate and the Jedi Order rebuild. Together, this time. Without the corruption that almost destroyed them both.
The revelation sends shockwaves through the Republic. Palpatine's confession and the evidence provided by Count Dooku, who himself faces justice but is granted leniency for his cooperation, expose decades of manipulation. The Clone War ends not with a bang, but with exhaustion and revelation. The Separatists, learning they were pawns in a Sith scheme, negotiate a lasting peace with Senate representatives who are themselves grappling with their complicity in Palpatine's rise. In the months that follow, the Republic begins to heal. Anakin, despite his youth and his transformation, is named to the Jedi Council, not just as a master, but as the new Grand Master. Yoda steps into an advisory role, acknowledging that the Force needs guidance from someone who understands the living Force in ways the old teachings never could.
For too long, we've allowed dogma to blind us to the true name of the Force. We've denied basic emotions, forced separation between Jedi and the people we serve, and created an order that was rigid where it should have been flexible. That changes now.
You would have us abandon the code?
No. I would have us understand it properly. There is no emotion. There is peace. This doesn't mean we destroy our emotions. It means we find peace through them, by understanding and accepting them rather than suppressing them. Love, attachment, joys. These aren't paths to darkness unless we let fear corrupt them.
And what of your own attachments, General Skywalker? You're married to Senator Amidala. The whole council knows now.
I am. And my love for her, my attachment to her, doesn't weaken me or make me vulnerable to the dark side. It strengthens my connection to the light. The Force itself willed our union. I can feel it in every meditation, every moment of clarity. If the Council wishes to censure me for following the will of the Force, so be it. But I will not pretend that love is wrong simply because we've been afraid of it.
A rather dramatic reform, Anakin. But I think perhaps you're right. We've been so afraid of falling that we forgot how to stand.
The council votes. The reforms pass. Jedi are no longer forbidden from forming attachments, but are instead taught to recognize the difference between love and possessiveness, between connection and obsession. Younglings are still trained from early ages, but maintain contact with their families. Jedi become integrated into the communities they serve rather than isolated in their ivory temples. Months later, in a private apartment on Coruscant, Padme watches the sunset with her husband. Her hand rests on her swelling belly, feeling the flutter of life within.
Do you ever regret it? Taking on this responsibility? You could have just walked away and let the Jedi handle things on their own.
No regrets. This is what I was meant for, Padme. Not to destroy the Sith through violence, but to transform the conflict itself. Light and dark aren't meant to be at war. They're meant to exist in balance. And now, finally, we can build that balance.
Our children will grow up in a very different galaxy than we did.
A better one, where Jedi serve out of compassion rather than duty. Where the Republic governs for its people rather than for power. Where the Force flows freely without being shackled by dogma or twisted ambition.
As the sun sets on Coruscant, the Force itself seems to hum in contentment. The Chosen One has fulfilled his destiny, not by destroying darkness, but by becoming the living bridge between light and shadow, the balance point around which the galaxy can finally begin to heal. Palpatine, his mind wiped clean of Sidious's corruption, works tirelessly in the Senate to undo the damage he once orchestrated. He doesn't understand why he feels such certainty about this path, only that it feels right in a way nothing else ever has. Count Dooku, under house arrest, but permitted to teach, begins training a new generation of Jedi in the philosophies he once used to justify his fall, but now in service to reform rather than destruction. The clone army, their inhibitor chips removed, choose their own path. Some remain as the Republic's defense force, others retire, seeking the normal lives they'd never been allowed. All of them, for the first time, are truly free. And in the temple, Grandmaster Anakin Skywalker meditates in the council chamber, feeling the threads of the Force weaving a new pattern across the galaxy. The visions of darkness, of Padme dying, of younglings falling, of himself becoming a twisted monster, fade like morning fog under the sun's light. Those futures are dead now, banished to the realm of might have been. In their place, new possibilities bloom. That's our theory. The Star Wars universe is a galaxy filled with exciting stories and possibilities, and we love exploring them. If you want to accompany us on this journey to a galaxy far, far away, then please like, share, and subscribe to our channel.